Welcome into the Blurred Wire. This episode today is actually pretty funny because we had literally just finished recording our review of A Quiet Place day one. And then as I was about to move on to go do something else, uh Ty was like, "Hey man, I just saw the new Captain America trailer." And I was like, I literally finished watching it as you sent me that text.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, well, our gear's still set up. Why don't we just hop back on and do a reaction video real quick because it just released a couple hours ago. I saw this thing yesterday too that said like the trailer was not going to release today because Marvel doesn't. It said the trailer's not going to release today because it was being pushed back for some reason. And like I don't know if Marvel did that to like slow hype or if that was just like fake news, but like obviously it was not delayed. The trailer has just come out. And I feel like because again, like as far as Marvel, like I follow Marvel, like I follow anime stuff, I follow comics. I'm a very huge, like deeply Marvel nerd. So what are your I want to hear your first thoughts when you watch this trailer compared to because we both agree
So
that Falcon and the Winter Soldier wasn't great. So
I didn't think it was I didn't think it was bad.
hmm
There were some moments. It's just like most of the MCU has been, like it's just been very forgettable to me.
hmm
Like it feels like it's checking boxes less than it is
telling a
like
story.
trying to tell interesting stories.
hmm
And like I felt that way for a lot of the MCU. I'm not as big a comic book fan. I really don't follow comics that closely. And so especially after like Infinity War and all of that had concluded, I have absolutely checked out mentally of the MCU as a lot of people have.
hmm
Um, but something I always really loved, the only Marvel movies I will go back, like the only MCU movies I will regularly go back and rewatch are Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America Civil War,
Yep.
and like maybe some of the Spider-Man ones.
hmm
But oh, and Black Panther, because I really did like Black Panther. But the the second and third Captain America movies worked way better as these like spy thriller films. And it was such a shift in tone from the rest of the MCU. And I say all of that preamble to say that Captain America Brave New World really appears like it's leaning heavily into the spy espionage thriller angle, way more than like I don't know if this is just the tone of the trailer itself and who composed it, but this feels nothing like any previous Marvel movie. Like take the shield out of a lot of the shots, and this just feels like its own separate thing.
hmm
And I mean that with praise because I want a story that is disconnected from the convoluted mess that is the MCU's connected world.
Right now,
Like
yeah.
tell an isolated story. Oh my God, tell an isolated story.
And it's funny because it's like I feel like that's like a catch 22 because it's like before Endgame, everything felt so cohesive and everything would affect the next thing. Like Winter Soldier was its own story, but it was affected by the first Avenger. It was affected by Avengers because
Mhm,
Nick Fury and Black Widow, and then it affected Age of Ultron, and then Age of Ultron affected Civil War, and so like it
mhm,
tied in really well. It wasn't as you called it convoluted. And so
mhm,
now it's like now we don't even care about the main MCU lore anymore because it's so convoluted. We're like,
mhm,
well, just give us some isolated stories. And it's like the
mhm,
more isolated stories we have, that's why it got so convoluted in the first place because none of these isolated stories are going towards the same thing. Like they're all feel like they're going off in completely different directions. And so it's like you don't even know what to follow anymore for a direction. Like
mhm.
Shang-Chi's picked up from Iron Man 3, but it seems like it hasn't been weaved or used into any of the other storylines. I thought No Way Home was directly going to influence Multiverse of Madness. They really didn't have anything to do with each other. Doctor Strange just said like it was something that happened. Uh, Love
Mhm.
and Thunder, and I mean Wakanda Forever did a great job of continuing the Black Panther, but like again, Love and like even Wakanda Forever, Love and Thunder, Quantumania, Guardians 3, the Marvels, like all of them have released these narratives that it feels like a bunch of frayed like shoelace angles. So it's
Mhm.
like at this point, it's kind of like you're right, it's kind of hard to care about the main MCU timeline because it's like what am I even following? It's like now people are just watching to see what would just ultimately interest them. And
Well, and
so,
I think those work differently because even though they were their own stories, what I mean by like connected is it felt like even though they were their own stories, they felt like they had to include characters from the greater universe just kind of thrown in. And I understand that that is a thing that happens a lot in comic books, but I do not think it translated well to film because it made everything feel messy instead of feeling like everything's connected. It felt like they were just throwing in nostalgic or recognizable faces just because. And this feels like it is Anthony Mackie in his own corner of the world taking on his
mhm.
Anthony Mackie story. And again, this is a short trailer. No
Yeah,
idea
very
how
short,
well
very
that's
short. Yeah.
representative of the greater movie. But if that's the tone that the rest of the movie takes, I am so here for it.
Is now, are you saying that before, are you saying that before Endgame, it felt messy even when like the nostalgic characters, or you feel like that's what it feels like now
It felt like that the whole time. It
the whole
felt it
time?
felt
Okay.
messy before, and it feels messier afterwards because at least before they were building to something. Now there is nothing that is being built up.
I don't know. And if there
They,
is, we
they
can't
can
even
they
tell what
can
it is.
say they're building up Kang or whatever, but I as an outsider to it, as someone who doesn't have a lot of emotional connection to it, it does not feel like they're building to anything at all.
I remember I was driving by a movie theater and I was like, man, I just started getting really nostalgic and I'm like, I miss it. I miss like Infinity War when it came out in theaters. I miss
Hmm.
leaving the Kingdom Hall at 9:15, going
Hmm.
home, changing, running up to Epic Theaters, parking on the grass because
Hmm.
people were parked in the grass and in the street just so
Hmm.
we could go see Infinity War, waiting
Hmm.
in that line. And I'm like, I feel like the MCU can't create that anymore. Like Secret Wars isn't going to be like that. It'll probably
Hmm.
be big, but we're not going to be parked on the grass, on the concrete, waiting to get like line outside the movie theater door. I
Hmm.
don't think any movie can really like recreate that hype and that much like community around it. Now, again,
No.
like we're here to talk about Captain America, not the downfall of the MCU. But I just remember because like I just saw Bad Boys the other day, and I just remember being like, man, that was only like 6 years ago. It feels like something that we're never gonna have again.
Hmm.
And I'm like, I miss it because I remember, meeting up there with my friends. I don't know if we saw Infinity War together because that was back when I was living in Florida. But like I said, that Thursday night, getting there at the theaters and like the cars were so packed in, I could barely get my door open.
Hmm.
Like it was a
It was
fire
an event.
hazard. It
It was
was
an event.
it was an event, yes. So anyway, I think this trailer looks like again, I'm one of those diehard MCU fans. I'm gonna see every MCU movie in the theaters. The question is just, am I gonna walk away feeling good or bad? Like that's just that's the way it is. Like Love and
Yeah.
Thunder, I felt bad after watching Love and Thunder. I was like, I want my money back. Like that was
Hmm.
this one. I don't think I'll have that feeling. Quantumania, I didn't feel like I wanted my money back necessarily. I just was so disappointed
Hmm.
because you didn't really get to the disappointing part until the end of the movie. It still felt like, oh, okay, I love the way Kang and Jonathan Majors is playing out, but like this movie, I don't really see that. I don't really see how I could be disappointed, I guess, just based on the trailer.
Hmm.
Unless they do something stupid crazy at the end, like they did with Quantumania.
Which
I
that's how
remember
disappointment works. You don't think it could happen,
that's
and then
fair.
it
That's
does.
fair. I mean, I remember when this movie was announced. I remember thinking, I don't really know if we need a Captain America 4. Cause like to me, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. I think coming after WandaVision was kind of hurt it a lot because WandaVision, you have this convoluted, interesting storyline that goes right with TV, which is like the perfect
Mhm.
way for Disney Plus to get on TV. And then
Mhm.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was like two guys running around the globe.
Mhm.
And like, you know, it kind of was globetrotty and stuff, but it wasn't able to capture the espionage scenes of Winter Soldier. It wasn't
Mhm.
able to capture that spy theme. And
Mhm.
Captain America, and it wasn't able to, and like Captain America took that spy theme and put superheroes in it. Because Winter
Mhm.
Soldier, you strip, like you said, you take away the shield. You don't even have to take away the shield. You just call it something else. It's a different movie. If you take out Captain America, it could be any spy movie, any, anywhere. Like
Mhm.
there's no superhero elements. Like Captain America
Mhm.
is really strong because he's got the super soldier serum, but
Right.
like it could be James Bond, it could be Mission Impossible, it could be whatever spy action thriller you want.
And to its credit, it was a good version of that. Not just
Yeah,
like a good MCU movie, but I think it stood on its own outside of it.
yeah, outside of the greater MCU, and it still helped raise the MCU to new heights. So, and then Civil War took that same concept and just added superheroes and
Mhm.
fantastical powers and, you know, the superhero genre. So
Mhm.
this movie feels like it's going to be kind of somewhere in between because it feels like it's not going to be as, you know, superhero we as Civil War was,
Mhm.
because you know, it's not going to have as many characters. um but it looks exciting. You know, it looks like I think Harrison Ford, I like what he's going to bring to Ross. I think he's going to
Mhm.
bring a different element to William Hurt. I think William Hurt was a fantastic actor, and I'm very sad that he passed away before he got to get into this role. But I think William Hurt, when you see him on screen, at least in the MCU, you already have like an air of like you kind of know, but like whatever he's gonna like, you know he's a villain, obviously, but
Mhm.
like I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's like you already get an off feeling about him whenever you see him. So there's no like air of mystery. I think Harrison Ford, because we've seen him play a good guy for so long, it's going to kind of help with his, I think he has the charisma to kind of balance. I think that's the difference. Like he has charisma to kind of balance and make it, to balance that ally villain line, because I think he's going to flip between that during the movie and kind of
Mhm.
like want to seem like an ally to Sam but have his own agenda. And there's still a lot of storylines that I don't know exactly how they're going to play out. Like, I don't know if Thunderbolt Ross is going to become Red Hulk because he wants to, or because the leader just turns him into it. Like,
Mhm.
because the main villain of this movie is supposed to be the leader and Red Hulk. And the leader, of course, was introduced in Incredible Hulk way back, The Incredible Hulk in 2008,
Mhm.
by Tim Blake Nelson. He played the guy, and like I don't know if you remember the scene, but like he got hit on his head, and some of Hulk's blood fell into a cut on his head, and he started turning into, his head started growing. No, your tired face. You guys can't see his face right now, but he's just like, nope, right
Nope.
over my head. Nope.
I don't know nothing.
Okay. Well, long story short, he started becoming the leader way back in 2008. So I don't know how they're
The
gonna
leader is his
explain.
name?
The leader is his name. Yeah. And that's a Marvel comic Hulk villain, traditionally a Hulk villain.
Gotcha.
And so I'm like, I also don't know how they're going to do two Hulk villains for a Captain America movie, because like Captain America cannot fight the Hulk without some kind of help. So they didn't show Mark Ruffalo in the trailer, and we haven't heard anything about Mark Ruffalo being involved or any kind of Hulk. But like, I don't care how much super soldier serum you take. Uh, you like Captain America is not beating the Hulk. It's
Mhm.
just not possible. The levels of strength are too far. Like Hulk crushes him in one hand. So I don't know.
And this is a non-souped up.
Yeah,
Like this is a Captain America without super serum.
I
This
mean
is
he's got a vibranium suit, but the vibranium suit doesn't give you like strength that comes from the serum or that comes from the heart
right.
shaped herb. So you're, yeah, exactly what. Oh, sorry.
And I think
Mm,
I think the thing that sets him apart as a Captain America is the conviction. I think
mhm,
because Anthony Mackie's character has obviously had to overcome more to become Captain America than say Steve Rogers was. Steve Rogers obviously was more than just serum. He was the heart of gold that he was, but I
mhm.
think Anthony Mackie brings a more like morally interesting perspective to it about like what does the mantle even mean. And so I hope whatever he ends up doing, I really hope it rests on his conviction more than whatever he can do physically. Like obviously he is going to like stop the bad guys using
Yeah,
force because that's
I see
like
what you mean. Yeah,
the
it's got to be
superhero
some
movie.
kind of he's not going to be able to win with just his strength because he
Right,
doesn't have enough to win. Like
right.
not his physical strength. It's going to have to be his moral strength.
And so I think for his character, because that's the thing that is making Captain America, I really hope they just lean into that without necessarily like, let me just go grab the Hulk to fight Red
Yeah,
Hulk real quick
but again, I'm
to
like,
end
I don't
this.
see how other way you're gonna. And like, there's a scene where like Red Hulk hits his shield and knocks it away, which was a pretty cool scene to see. Red Hulk, come to
Mm-hmm,
the screen because Red Hulk is a great one of my favorite villains. But I just there's no way that unless they seriously nerf Red Hulk, like seriously nerf him, there's no way that he could be um there's no way that Captain America could stand a chance in
mm-hmm,
like this is it's not even close. So yeah, it would be interesting to see how could he use his like moral conviction to defeat him, like convince Red Hulk to turn on the leader or something like that. I don't know. There's like this is one of the movies that's like and that's why I also miss Infinity War era because like
like
first
the
of all there was
speculation.
the speculation like there was so like we
Mm-hmm,
would go up, we drive, we park, we saw the movie, we were like, oh my god, and for an entire year, YouTube was littered with um review like people trying to figure out what's going to happen in Endgame, how are they going to succeed, all of it like it was just flooded and
mm-hmm,
like that's all I would watch for that entire year and I had all
mm-hmm,
these great theories and I'm like this movie I feel like I can't really come up with any theories
mm-hmm,
and it's like we're almost like afraid to come up with theories now and just be so incredibly wrong.
mm-hmm,
And like I feel like it hurts more like when your theory isn't right now because especially if it ends up being a huge disappointment. And I feel like that's
mm-hmm,
what happened with Love and Thunder and Quantumania. It's like you didn't have to like take my idea or theory, like totally get that. It's a theory, like you don't expect it to be in the movie, but it's like when the movie ends up being worse than your theory, it's like what? What just
mm-hmm.
happened? So and like with this one, I literally have no idea. I have no idea how Sam Wilson will defeat Red Hulk
I think
without help.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and make a meta narrative
All right.
observation that I think because by making the casting for Ross Harrison Ford, a obviously a very high build actor, I think we can safely say that he's probably gonna die at the end of this movie. And because I don't think they would go the route of if he were to become a character long term, I don't think they would go the route of recasting General Ross again. I think because it's Harrison Ford, this is going to be a one and done, and I think that the character will die at the end.
Okay.
That is my prediction, just
I'm
from the
like,
casting of Harrison Ford.
and I could see that. I don't know if he's supposed to be in Thunderbolts or not. I've
What's that?
heard that like Thunderbolts is supposed to be a movie coming after Brave New World in 2025. And the Thunderbolts is supposed to bring, and again, this is another movie that when I heard it announced, I was like, this is not really what I wanted to hear, but okay. It has, Florence Pugh's Black Widow, it has David Harbour's Red Guardian, They brought back Ghost, who is not a
Oh,
good
from the
character
second
from
Ant-Man?
the second Ant-Man. Yeah, they brought back. They want to bring in U.S. Agent. So remember how Contessa Fontaine was recruiting U.S. Agent in Winter Soldier?
Nope.
Julia Dreyfus character at the
Oh,
end of Black Widow, she recruits Yelena to kill Clint Barton in Hawkeye, and then she appears again in Wakanda Forever. No, nope.
nope. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, Julia Dreyfus' character, she plays Contessa de Fontaine, and it appears like she's building her own version of the Avengers by recruiting different kind of like off-cast heroes, like U.S.
Hmm.
Agent, who has the super soldier serum, like um, Yelena as the Black Widow, David
Hmm.
Harbour's Red Guardian. So Thunderbolts is supposed to be about them coming to face a common threat, and it appears like that threat's going to be the Sentry. Again, unless they severely nerf the Sentry, I don't know how they're going to have him in the movie with Thunderbolts because he's so exponentially more powerful than all of them combined. It's
Hmm.
not even funny. So, I think it's going to be more interesting to see Captain America to see Sam Wilson's Captain America interacting with um Harrison Ford's Thunderbolt Ross because they do kind
Hmm.
of have like pretty much a hate relationship. It's not really love hate because they haven't ever had like any love between them. It's just hate. Because he does not like Ross and Ross doesn't really like him. So
Hmm.
I think seeing them interact will be interesting. We were just talking about it before we started. It's pretty funny how he was like, I don't even know why they did this, but like Anthony Mackie goes up to Harrison Ford's character and he's like, "Oh, you look different. No mustache." And he was like, "Yeah, it was either lose the mustache and lose the election." And it was like,
Yeah.
"What? Like, do you really have to acknowledge that William Hurt had a mustache and you don't?" Like, I just,
It it makes me laugh because it's like I feel like that works better if it's like a less known actor. But
yeah,
you got Harrison Ford.
right.
It's like you look like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, what's the thing that makes William Hurt and Harrison Ford look different? The
And like,
mustache.
yeah,
Otherwise, you
that's
look
the
just like
thing.
him. Yeah,
Not you are literally Harrison Ford. We've referenced Star Wars in this movie series before.
because the action spy thriller works so well. It's just I'm a little nervous because they just messed it up so badly with Secret Invasion, which ended up
Hmm.
being like it had the potential to be the best Disney Plus show and started off
Hmm.
that way and ended up as one of the worst ones. And it's like it's really hard to like trust. And like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like it wasn't bad, but it feels like all of the like intense moments they tried to undercut with like humor and like at the end, like because like the Winter Soldier wasn't funny. Like I don't think there's like maybe two things that were funny, maybe in the whole thing.
Hmm.
Um Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like I hope they see what didn't work in those two and just avoid it. Because again, Falcon and the Winter Soldier wasn't bad, but I think like I wouldn't like if I saw that in a theater, I would be disappointed. Probably because it wasn't, breakneck action and everything. But like
Hmm.
you see what I mean? Like how it wouldn't really work in a like on Disney Plus, it's like, okay, that's like an average show. But it's like in the theater, it would be if that was the exact same story being told, it would be rough. So I guess we'll
Yeah.
see. I am excited for Harrison Ford though. I think he's going to do a fantastic job
Hmm.
as President Ross. Um, there's still a lot of confusion over to who Giancarlo Esposito's character is playing.
Hmm.
Uh, Giancarlo. Sorry, I said Giancarlito. What? Uh, but I know that it involved a lot of the reshoots, which ended up costing them. This movie's budget is like 400 million,
That's ridiculous.
which means it has to make 800 million to break
It's not
even.
gonna.
I don't think there's any way that it's going to. And they're going to,
It's
in
not
order for it
gonna.
to make 800 million, they're probably going to have to market it so hard that it's going to push it to need to make 1 billion in order to balance out. and
Yeah.
maybe Disney is okay to take a loss on this one. Like they made profit on other projects, so it'll be okay. But for
Hmm.
this movie specifically, like it's probably gonna end up losing money. I don't think there's any way that it can.
Yeah.
Like I think it's gonna be fortunate to get to 500 million.
Hmm.
Um, so I guess we'll see. I'm still excited for it. I still think Anthony Mackie is a fantastic actor. I think it's nice to see him in the spotlight, and I think um it looks good. It looks like it'll be the trailer was certainly heart pounding. Um, like they showed a lot of like the heavy action to try to make it get going. So,
Hmm.
um, we've got till February, which is a
We're
really
probably gonna
long
get
time.
another trailer or two in the meantime.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing that's like post Infinity War. It's kind of sad because it's like again, we used to get trailers. They probably were like only like 3 months before the movie came out or something like that.
Hmm.
So, but now with the age of YouTube and everything and ads, it's like Disney would rather release it early on YouTube to collect all the ad money from the views than spend more money like debuting it on like a Super Bowl commercial or something like that. You know what I mean? Because like,
I mean, I bet they need to
yeah,
because the MCU needs, like, it's
money.
bleeding. It's
Yeah,
bleeding. It's not succeeding right now.
yeah,
Ever since Endgame, it's been heavily downhill.
yeah. So I guess we'll see. Leave us your thoughts of the trailer, what you think of it. I'll try to post like a title card so you can watch it while you're watching this video. And yeah, let us know your thoughts. Are you excited for the trailer? Do you think it's going to be a good movie? I think it's shaping up to be a very average MCU movie, which it's hard to know what that is now. I think
How
it could
can
be
you
above
say that
average.
from a minute and a half
Above.
teaser? Sorry, watch the
uh,
minute and a half teaser. It's pretty mid.
pretty mid of a movie. I think it's just based upon is based upon where Falcon and the Winter Soldier went. And I think I don't know if the
Hmm.
writers are the same. So I think that's what I'm basing that on. I should
Hmm.
probably clarify it's not as much about the trailer. And I hope I'm wrong. Like obviously I want to be wrong so badly.
Hmm.
Um and like I said, I think Harrison Ford, just based upon the trailer, he might end up being the best thing in this movie next to Anthony Mackie and Giancarlo Esposito's mystery character, who we don't know who he's playing yet. So
And A.O. Arwen.
Arwen,
Yeah, Liv Tyler.
Betty
She's
Ross.
Betty Ross. She played
Oh,
Arwen in Lord of the Rings.
oh, okay. I was like, oh, so she was. See, I didn't even know that. That would explain why. I was like, I remember her from Incredible Hulk. And in the comics, she becomes Red She Hulk, which I don't think they're gonna do in this movie.
You
But
never know.
why else would
Maybe
she
that's the
be in
thing that
it?
needs to be brought up to take down Red Hulk.
And but I mean, like, why would you not call Hulk or She Hulk? I don't know. There's so many questions. I guess we'll have to see. Maybe he'll be stronger than both of them combined. I don't know. I don't know. It's a lot. But
I
um
guess we'll have to wait and see.
just wait all the way until February. So again, let us know your thoughts and we will catch you guys next time. Thank you for joining us for this little pop-up episode.
Till then.